Yo, what up, everybody? You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Let's get into it. In today's show, we're going to go through 19 different names that I think the New York Knicks could at least go out and take a look at when it comes to making a trade or a sign-in trade. A little disclaimer here. These aren't all players that I, GM Marsh, would go out and look at to trade for. These are players that maybe we've heard some things, or maybe we've heard them linked to them, or just players that I think the Knicks are going to make a call for and see if they are available. But before we talk about what we're going to go out and get, let's talk about what we have in the cupboard that we can use in a trade. In the 2023 NBA draft, the Knicks do not have a pick. They do not have a first, or they do not have a second. They traded that first for Josh Hart. They have 4 first-round picks in 2024, 2 first-round picks in 2025, 8 tradable first-round picks at the moment, and 10 first-rounders in the next 7 seasons. In 2024, they have their own first-round pick. They also own the rights to the Dallas Mavericks pick, which is top 10 protected. They own the rights to the Pistons pick, which is top 18 protected. And they also own the rights to the Wizards pick, which was top 14 protected. Now it is top 12 protected. So you have all the assets when it comes to draft picks and draft chips to go out and make a trade for a superstar. Before we go through my list of players, I want to hear from you. Name a player you want the Knicks to trade for down in the comments section. Let me know a player you want the Knicks to trade for. Comment right now. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and let me know a player you want to see wearing orange and blue. So far on the channel this offseason, we've talked about the report that came out from Bleacher Report and Eric Pincus. Pincus reported that the Knicks are expected to pursue Kyle Kuzma, Bradley Beal, OG Anunoby, and Karl-Anthony Towns this offseason. We have literally done a video on Kuzma, on Bradley Beal, on OG Anunoby, and Karl-Anthony Towns. So if you want to hear about these guys more in depth, go out and check the videos on the channel, and that's why you subscribe. So if you want to check out one of those videos, they're on the channel, go watch them. But if you missed them, that's your problem. Change that. Go hit that sub button right now and turn your notifications on so you get alerted anytime we put out a video here on New York Knicks Now. I'll tell you this much. The Knicks make a trade, we're going live on the channel, and we're going to have a damn good time. Hit that sub button. Let's ride. I think the first player the New York Knicks are going to look at this NBA offseason is Jaylen Brown, the swing man for the Boston Celtics. And this video was filmed on Tuesday of this week, right before Game 4 versus the Boston Celtics series. At this time, they are down 3-0, but with them in a hole in the Eastern Conference Finals, and kind of just the Celtics looking out of whack, and the fact that Jaylen Brown could sign a contract extension this offseason, and there's rumors that he might not sign in, that he wants to test free agency in next year's offseason. Could the Knicks go and look to put a package around and trade for Jaylen Brown? Let's talk about him. Jaylen Brown, in my opinion, is one of the best two-way wings in this league. This past season, he played in 67 games for the Boston Celtics, 26.6 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 49% from the field. Not the best three-point shooter. It only shot like 34% from the field in the regular season. But you see him get better every single year, which is something that I like. And I also like that he is a solid perimeter defender. While the stats do look good for what he's done in the playoffs so far, he has been a shell of himself in this playoff series against the Miami Heat. He's shooting terrible from long range, still shooting 39% from 3 in the playoffs. I just have my concerns about Jaylen Brown. Like, after watching this series, and him not demanding the ball in the fourth quarter. I know you got to bet it's a balancing act between Brown and Tatum. Sometimes I wish he would just go out and demand the ball a little bit more and take over these ball games. I think during the first 2 games of this series, he didn't have a made bucket in the fourth quarter of those games, and that's a problem. But Jaylen Brown is definitely someone I think the Knicks are interested in. I think they will call the Boston Celtics. I'm just not sure the Boston Celtics would want to trade their young wing to their Eastern Conference rival in the New York Knicks. So let's talk about another couple of guys. I think another trade target the New York Knicks are going to go out and potentially look at is Joel Embiid. We have heard about all of the Joel Embiid rumors so far. We've broken those down plenty of times on the channel. Bill Simmons was talking about that dating back to early in the regular season. If James Harden believes to go to the Houston Rockets, which sounds like all signs are pointing towards that, and you just fire Doc Rivers, maybe Embiid looks up and says, hey, I don't want to be here anymore and I demand a trade. I think it's also important to remember that at one point in time, Leon Rose was the agent for Joel Embiid. So they have a great relationship. I mean, you look at Joel Embiid, the MVP of this year in the regular season, 33 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, great percentages and efficiency. He's a great player. But I have 2 concerns. The first one is his durability. He continues to miss games not only in the regular season, but also the postseason. A little bit better the last 2 years. He's missed just 30 games combined in the last 2 seasons, but he's also missed 4 combined games in the playoffs in the last 2 seasons. It's tough when your MVP and star player is missing time and missing games in the NBA playoffs. And not only that, his production takes a pretty big dip when it comes to the NBA regular season and the NBA playoffs. Remember, we told you he's averaging 33 points per game in the regular season this year. That dropped all the way down to 23 points per game. Dealing with that injury, of course, that's something to think about. But if Embiid is available, you might have to put all your chips in the center of the table. We got a lot more players to talk about, but first, make sure you guys are hooked up with our proud sponsor of today's show, and that is Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com and use the promo code CHAT, and they're going to hook you guys up with a free Yeti-style tumbler. Yes, for free. I love Bird Dogs for a couple of reasons. One, the fit is awesome. It's unparalleled. Whether it is the shorts or the pants, the fit is perfect. I also love the stretchy fabric. There's nothing worse than wearing pants where you can't have any mobility and you can't sit down and they're just way too tight, but it's not a good type of tight. Also, Bird Dogs, they're swaggy and they're versatile. You can wear them to work. You can wear them to the office. You could wear them to going out to dinner. You could wear them to go work out. You can wear them to the mom and pop's house. You can wear them to a party. You can wear them wherever. They're very versatile, and I think that they have mastered the fit with the gym shorts, the shorts, and the pants. Get hooked up with Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com and use the promo code CHAT. Another player I think the Knicks will make a call about and talk about this offseason is Zach Lavine. Zach Lavine is a player that is very close to that 50, 40, 90 club when it comes to his offensive efficiency, and the connections are obvious. He was coached by Tom Thibodeau in Minnesota. They have a relationship, and there's reports at the NBA trade deadline that Tom Thibodeau was open to the idea of trading for Zach Lavine. Also, this is someone that the Knicks, I feel like, are comfortable with. Go back to the NBA trade deadline. There was reports that there was talks between the Bulls. So this is a player they were once interested in. Tom Thibodeau once coached. I think it could be a guy that they are continuously interested in. I mean, he shoots 48% from the deck, gives you 25 a night. He's like a 40% shooter from downtown. He's one of the best shot-creating 2 guards in the NBA, no doubt about it. But I have my concerns. Injuries and play style are a concern for me. He's missed some time over the past couple of years. Kind of put that a little bit behind him, but he's had a couple of bad knee injuries. Had one in high school. He also had one in the NBA. I just wonder if he is a win-at-all-cost type of player. Does he have that grit in him? Does he have that dog in him? Is Jalen Brunson going to be able to look him in the eyes and say, he wants it as bad as I do? And if the answer is no, I don't want you on this team. I want players that want it as bad as Jalen Brunson. And I also am worried a little bit about that backcourt pairing because he's not the best defender. But I do believe there's upside. He's a shooter. He creates on the outside. The Knicks need another creator on the perimeter. They need another guy they could just roll the ball to and get a bucket. And you'd have one of the best backcourts in the NBA with Brunson and Lavine. So there's definitely some pros and cons to that situation. Another guy I think the Knicks will be interested in this offseason is Paul George, the small forward for the Los Angeles Clippers. Reason number 1, CAA Mafia. Paul George, he is a member of CAA. And if you look at the moves the Knicks have made, they all freaking are signed to CAA. Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson. Like the list, it goes on and on and on. So I think that is this reason, number 1. Number 2, he's a damn good player. He's a two-way player. The Knicks need a wing. They need a guy that can catch and shoot. They need a guy that can create their own shot. And he can also defend. And I think the question that you have to ask yourself is, why would he maybe be available? I think you have to say, is it time for the Los Angeles Clippers to reassess where they are at in their team-building strategy? Have they run out of time with this duo of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? Could they maybe look at the Knicks and say, maybe if we can just keep Kawhi healthy for the postseason, maybe we get a guy like Julius Randle who plays a lot in the regular season. You can kind of create a team around in the regular season. And he's proven to win games and be an all-NBA player. Maybe that entices him. Maybe it's Randle and a couple of picks, and maybe you throw in maybe Emmanuel quickly. I don't know. But I do know this. PG is one of the smoothest two-way hoopers in the NBA. Definitely worried about his injury history. I mean, you see the games on screen right now that he's played, and he hasn't played in more than 56 games in the past 4 seasons. It also concerns me that he's 33 years old, and that's not young. He is 33. Injuries and age are a problem, no doubt about it. But if injuries were off, and I know that's a big if, and we're talking 2K at this point, Paul George would be one of the best fits at the small forward spot for this New York Knicks team. 1, he's an elite perimeter defender. 2, he's got a whole bunch of playoff experience. 3, he can create his own shot. And 2, he is a knockdown, catch and shoot player. He checks a lot of the boxes that the Knicks need at that wing spot. This next one is kind of a deep rumor, but also I think there's some juice to that as well. What about Anthony Davis? After the Los Angeles Lakers just lost in the Western Conference Finals by getting swept by the Denver Nuggets, could LeBron James, if he comes back to the Lakers, tell Rob Pelinka, look, the duo of me and AD is done, and I want to go get someone else out there, and maybe they trade Anthony Davis. Also, Colin Cowherd on this show today, we're talking about a potential Julius Randle and RJ Barrett swap for AD. I don't know how I feel about that one. AD is special. Is he a little bit flaky? Is he a little bit hot and cold? Yes, he is. Does he not always show up? For sure. But I believe he's the best defensive player in the NBA. I believe he's someone that completely changes that side of the court. And he's someone that I think would be a great fit with Jalen Brunson. The injuries and age are also a problem for Anthony Davis. And you're kind of seeing a recurring theme here. And I won't spoil that. We'll talk about that in a second. Injuries and age. Like AD, he's going to be 30 here pretty soon. He's missed a lot of time. But man, when he is on the floor and he is engaged, defensively, he's always going to bring. He's going to be a great rebounder. He's going to block shots. He's going to get steals. He's going to affect the game, get in the passing lanes. The offensive production is what's a little bit scary sometimes, but it's a better upgrade than Randall. I'll tell you that much for sure. The last guy that I think the Knicks could go out and target is Jordan Poole. I know a lot of people are probably not happy at this one, but once again, CAA Mafia. He is a member of CAA, repped by Leon Rose's company. And maybe the Knicks think they need another shooting guard off the bench like Jordan Poole, a guy that continues to get better and better and better and better. Kind of fell out of the rotation a little bit in the playoffs for the Golden State Warriors, but this is a guy that can fill it up. You can run your offense at times through Jordan Poole. But I'm not the biggest fan of this one. I'm not the biggest fan of Jordan Poole. I'm not sure he plays the most winning brand of basketball. I think he can get away with the style of play that he has, being a part of the Golden State Warriors and that culture and that team and that, energy. But I do think he's going to be available. I think the Golden State Warriors are going to shake some things up this offseason. And maybe, there's a Julius Randle for Jordan Poole and a couple of picks. I mean, Don't shut the door on Jordan Poole. I don't love it. I don't. But I'm saying that I think that might be someone the Knicks are 100% interested in. We got 10 more guys, and I think the Knicks could also be interested. But I think these 5 guys are at the top of the list. In my opinion, not guys I would want, but things that I'm hearing and things that I'm reading into. Pick a trade target, though. If you had to pick one of these 5 guys, who would you rather have? Type JE for Joel Embiid, ZL for Zach Lavine, PG for Paul George, AD for Anthony Davis, or JP for Jordan Poole. Sound off for me. After every single player we showed you, we had one little caveat about each player, right? Age, injuries, concerning, play style. Is he a winning player? The perfect player does not exist. If they did, they would not be being traded. So I just want everyone to understand that. The perfect player does not exist for the New York Knicks. Does he even exist in the NBA? I don't know. So just keep that in mind this NBA offseason. Because if everybody gave me a player that the Knicks could go out and trade for, I could nitpick one thing about them that makes them not a good fit. You could do that about every player. They do not exist. The perfect player is not there. Other New York Knicks trade targets, I believe, that could be, talked about between the Knicks. Andrew Wiggins, he's a part of CAA. There was rumors last offseason that the Knicks were interested in Andrew Wiggins. Then he signed an extension. I think Kristaps Porzingis is a name to keep your eye on. I believe that there's some interest there on both sides. The Knicks could use a floor spacer at that big spot. Zion Williamson, CAA. Do I have to say anything else? The Knicks, they've always been interested and connected to Zion Williamson. Like Paul George, I think Kawhi Leonard is available for those same reasons. I also believe Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is available. Stephen A. Smith said he wants him. No doubt about it. I don't think that makes any sense. We talked about that earlier. Once again, I think Giannis could be on the trade market, and if he is the Knicks, you got to give up everything, even if it includes Madison Square Garden. Buddy Hield is also a player, CAA, that I think the Knicks could be interested in. He's a shooter. He's someone the Knicks could use. They need another bench piece. They need a guy that can catch and shoot, kind of sit in that strong side corner and be an outlet pass for drivers. I think Pascal Siakam. We talked about OG. I think Siakam is also a name that could be on the trade market. Miles Turner has been linked time and time again to the New York Knicks. Maybe a Mitchell Robinson and someone else swap for him. And then the last name, LeBron James. Because in Vegas right now, the betting favorite to land LeBron James this offseason is the New York Knicks. Also, LeBron James is great friends with Leon Rose. Don't sleep on that one. Don't sleep on that one. We don't need him. I know we don't, but just don't sleep on it. We appreciate everybody for tuning in to Knicks Now by Chat Sports. If I missed anything, comment down below, and I'll ask this question. Maybe I missed a player that you want to talk about. Comment their name down in the comment section, and maybe we'll do a video on them later in the week.